tying on tubes, you have a lot of advantages. You can move your hook or your hook set further down into the wing of the fly, which is going to make your hook percentage go up. We're going to use a lot of cool materials today, but first of all we're going to use a fairly large bundle of grey bucktail. Bucktail is nice because it's relatively stiff, and it will help support the rest of the materials here, and also ensure that my fly will have a lot of bulk and a lot of volume. So I've taken a fairly large bundle of bucktail, and what I'm doing is I'm laying this on top of the foundation of tying thread I have here, and then I'm trying to distribute it evenly all the way around the tube here, making a couple of loose turns, and then I'm tying this down like so, making sure it's nice and fastened here, and it's that is not going anywhere, like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pen here, and gonna turn all this nice bucktail material backwards, forcing it backwards to make sure that it's gonna be facing the right way, like so. And then I'm applying some tying thread. I'm not tying on top of the bucktail, I'm just tying up to it. So I'm forcing it back with the tying thread, but I'm not forcing it down, like tying on top of it. So as you can see now, I get this very neat, very cool corona of bucktail, and this big corona, this big fan of bucktail will ensure that my fly will have a lot of bulk and a lot of volume in the water, and will stand out in the water, and will move a lot of water. That was the first stage of this fly. What we're going to do now is we're going to take some of this brand new, very cool flashabou color called Sunset. It's a nice color, a mix of gold and purple and stuff like that. I'm going to take a bundle of this, and this is just the traditional flashabou in holographic. Taking a bundle of this, making sure that my lengths, that my ends here are not completely even, because if they were completely even, then the fly would not swim as great, and the material would not look as great. But before I'm going to do that, I'm just gonna make sure I have a sound and nice layer of tying thread underneath here. The tube I'm using here is a future fly tube, the 4.6 millimeters, a fairly nice tube for these pike flies. You get a lot of tube fly materials in a package from future fly. So I'm tying this not in full length, but I'm tying this, and again I'm trying to distribute this as evenly as I can all the way around the tube here, like so. So I'll get into this corona, I'll get a lot of flashabou mixed in there as well. Then I'm gonna turn this other part back as well, and tie this down also. So my corona will now be made from both flashabou and bucktail. So yeah, that looks nice. I'm not gonna cut any of those strands there off, there's no need for that. What we need to do now is we need to take some additional flesh, and this is going to be kind of like the long part of the fly. This is the flashabou magnum, again in the color Sunset here. Taking a fairly nice bundle here, making sure again the lengths are uneven here. like so. Just whipping it in the air to make sure that all the strands are lying how I want them to be, or positioned how I want them to be. Gonna go a bit further up here along the tube. Something like that is sufficient. I'm taking all these flashabou magnum strands here, again making sure that these are all the way distributed all the way around the tube, tying them down. Like so. Turning this over once again. You need a special tube fly needle to tie these flies, unfortunately, because this tubing is fairly big, fairly large. So the one I'm using here is the Eimer, but I know that both Future Fly and Pro are working on a tube fly needle for these big tubes as well, and I'm looking very much forward to seeing how exactly they are gonna be. So as you can see now, we have attached a lot of flash material now. Everything seems to come together very cool. So I'm gonna take some hackle feathers, and I'm gonna take some pink grizzly hackle feathers here, because they are gonna add some contrast and are gonna look great on this pattern. Again, trying to distribute them all the way around the tube. Like this. This will also add a lot of life and stuff like that to the fly here. Cutting those off, the leftover stumps. What I think would be a good addition is to take another bundle of bucktail. Not as big as the first one, but still a fairly decent sized bundle of bucktail. Doing it exactly the way I did with the first bundle here. Distribute it all the way around, making a loose turn, tying thread, and then fastening it like so. Making sure it will stick there. Turn it over. Because what we want on the finishing part of this fly is we want one of these fairly large heads here to make the fly complete. So as you can see, we need a bit more materials to make this look as cool as it will be. I'm going to pull that. Oh, that didn't look very good for the tube to pull that back off, but well, at least we know that when we put it on there, it's gonna stay there. So to add some more bulk to this fly, I'm gonna take another bundle of. Oh, well, actually, first I'm gonna take some of these. These are ostrich plumes feathers, very nice, very cool, and they add a lot of bulk and also a lot of life to the fly. So I'm taking some of these, These are called, they are from Wapsia, I think, and they're, I don't know exactly where they're from, but they are called ostrich plumes XXL. And these I'm gonna tie the same way I did with the other stuff. I'm gonna tie these so they are facing forward, like this. Again, distributed evenly along the hook shank, like so. And leave all of this hanging here. I'm gonna take a bundle of the sunset holographic flashabou magnum. Pulling these out so they're not even in length again. Whipping it to make sure that the materials are how I want them to be. Tying these down so they are around the hook. And I'm just gonna let these part here out in the front just dangle there. And for the finishing touch, I'm gonna take another bundle of ostrich plumes. This is in I don't know how exactly to pronounce it, but it's a very vibrant mix of pink and purple. I think it's called fuchsia or fuchsia, something like that. I hope you know the color or know how exactly it's pronounced. Taking a bundle of these. Oh, they are nice. You gotta love these. Again, distribute them evenly all the way around, or as evenly as you can. I know this is not easy. Just gonna see how far is there all the way, something like that. And then you have this completely awesome mix of a lot of different goodies here. And what I'm gonna do is gonna make sure that all of these can be turned backwards here in a second. Not sure if I left room enough for this, but... And the only thing left to do is to take your super glue, attach a bit of super glue here to the fish skull, take an eye, drop it in there, apply some pressure, and there you have it. A nice, vibrant, lively, musky fly that is fairly long but easy to cast because it will not soak up a lot of water. There's a very little amount of natural materials that will soak up water, and because of all these different types of flash and the hackles and the ostrich hurls and the bucktail, this fly will have some bulk and some volume, despite the fact that you are actually not used that big materials. So there you have it. The sunset. Those were the words. Thank you for tuning in.